Tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away.
3 weeks.
As you fade
3
away.
weeks as Greg the Gold has come.
Yeah, I'm about to fade away, cause every time I wake up I feel like it's Monday. Something's going wrong with all the chemicals up in my brain. All of a sudden I don't look at anything the same way. Gotta build up of my thoughts sitting in an ashtray. I'm sorry that I'm so inconvenient, okay. Just let me be me,
what
and I'll
are
stay
you
out
doing?
of the way. I can see the way you look at me, I'm such a disgrace. I never really asked to be brought into this place. You wanna love me? Well then baby I have a taste. All the highs and the lows, no you'll never be the
Okay, that's enough of that. That's enough of that. Let's go through these games real quick. We've got a lot of news to go over. This is PATC Aftermath. This is college football's peek around the corner with your host, Greg Flugar. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do as well, please subscribe to our channel. Smash the like button if you like our content. Share the video with your family and friends if you want to support this channel through a donation to help us keep the lights on and grow the channel. Hit that $ where you make a comment and I'll get to your super chat as quick as I possibly can. Welcome everybody into the studio that sits on the corner, the very corner of Keith Jackson Parkway and Kurt Gowdy Avenue. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid to become a legend. with your comments and with your phone calls. Super chat. Heartbreak 25. Getting us started. Heartbreak 25 is very happy that PJ Fleck and the Mighty Gophers put a stop. Did they put a stop to the Matt Rule rumors? Did they? PJ Fleck is a great man. Thank you, Mighty Gophers, for reducing the chances of Matt Rule being hired as Penn State's head coach. Sky Yuma. That is the first time I have ever seen a Nittany Lion use the phrase Sky Yuma. Victory, University of Minnesota in the Dakota language. Did Matt Rule's chance to become the new Penn State head coach, did it get reduced? I don't know. I don't know. I really think the important game for Nebraska is this coming up week against Northwestern. We'll get into that later in the week. But thank you for the $5 holler, Heartbreak 25. I can understand why Penn State fans feel a little better about... I'm afraid we are getting into the... and like when Tennessee momentarily hired Shiano, and then the fan base went just crazy, and Tennessee cannot do it any longer. That might happen if Penn State hires Matt Rule. I think the Penn State fans might just riot. So maybe you're right, Heartbreak 25. Maybe you are correct. Thank you for the $5 holla. Thank you for starting us off today. I appreciate it. There is a coaching carousel going on. Coaching carousel mania in college football. And multiple reports, not just one, a lot of them, are saying there's going to be a players meeting, unscheduled. The players are going to be talked to. Billy Napier, multiple reports. He's going to be let go this afternoon. It's probably, most likely, going to happen during this live show. So keep your head on a swivel. Let me know when it officially happens. If it doesn't happen, then I'm going to have to change the title of this live show and apologize and take the big L in front of all you. I think it's going to happen. People that I trust says it's all happening right now. So let's go to the roll call here. Dave B, hello, Greg. Nice Gopher win. Thank you. Thank you very much. Expedition Greg is in the house. Bob Swanger is in the house. Tu Masta. We'll talk about Norvell in a moment. George Holton, the Osceola trucker. Can it be a Napier-Norvell combo? There's discussions, as you all, I'm sure you've all read, there are discussions about Norvell going on right now in Tallahassee. I think he's gone. I think Florida State is calculating how much are they going to lose if they keep him, how much are they going to lose if they fire him, and it probably ain't going to be much of a difference. The bottom has completely dropped out of the Seminole. The Seminole fans are not going to spend they've already bought the tickets, but there's a lot of other money available if you have hope. If you don't have any more hope, it's over. Plus, you got the recruiting class to worry about. That game, and I don't think I'm going to offend anybody, the Seminoles. I think they're on board with this. I watched that game. I was up in the early morning hours. I mean, the Seminoles might have gotten screwed at the end. He might have scored. But again, it's like maybe the Seminole fans were happy he did not score, because that game could have went in overtime, and Florida State possibly could have won. That game was horrific. That is a badly coached team. I get it. There is circumstances, especially from the fat guy from Minnesota, I do not understand. Tommy Castellanos has a hurt ankle. He can't run with it. But you still run the RPO. You still run where you're going to give the quarterback the option to run. But yet the defense don't think your quarterback's going to run. Therefore, your running back is being put out to dry. Don't you have the ability just to hand... and then you have these penalties. These guys have completely... They're not listening to Norvell. Obviously, there is some sideline stuff going on. Norvell's got to go. You can't go a whole calendar season. I'm sorry, a whole calendar year without winning an ACC football game. Not if you're the Seminoles. Not if you're the Seminoles. Not when you're putting that much money into it. Not when you have that big a fan base. Not when you have that dedicated a fan base. You can't go any further. I know it's a lot of money. A lot of it is owed up front and da-da-da. But the bottom has completely dropped out. And by the way, there's reports about Wisconsin. I hope Ryan Willie ain't listening to this. I hope Ryan Willie is not listening to this. There are reports that Wisconsin is thinking about keeping Fickle for another year. McIntosh would keep his job. And that money that it would cost him to fire Luke Fickell and that coaching staff, they're just going to plow it in to NIL. I think Wisconsin is going to make a horrible mistake here. It sounds like they might be making a I know you guys don't pay attention to upper Midwest football recruiting, but for the last 40, 50 years, whenever, especially during the modern day recruiting rankings, Rivals and 247 and ESPN and now On3, Wisconsin has always had higher recruiting classes than Minnesota. Always. Even when Wisconsin was bad. Now, and they always took our best player. We could never take their best player in their state. Now we've got all these 4-star recruits at the Gopher games. Wisconsin high school players. It's unbelievable. Wisconsin has to make a move. Luke Fickell has lost. It is very difficult. Look, for some programs, you can hit bottom and you can bounce up pretty fast, pretty strong. Because you got the money, you've got the commitment, you've got the recruiting beds in your front yard, in your backyard, in your neighbor's yard, and you can bounce up really fast. Especially in this day of portals, NIL. But there are some programs out there. Once you have fallen off the table, you ain't going to get back up for quite a long time. Wisconsin is one of those programs. I'm sorry, but you're one of those programs. You cannot completely fall off the table. You don't want to be Minnesota of the 70s and 80s and the 90s and blah, 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 blah. You don't want to do that, Wisconsin. Wisconsin doesn't want to go back to their 80s, to their 70s, to their 60s. Luke Fickell, I think, has got to go. But it sounds like Wisconsin. Looks like they might be doing the Mike Norvell Florida State plan. We got another super chat. Kenneth Maynard, the curse of realignment continues. Florida State, North Carolina, Clemson at the bottom of the ACC. And Memphis chokes to a bad team. Don't try to focus on leaving if you can't compete or dominate your current conference, Kenneth Maynard. Well, I'll give you the flip side of that. Thank you for the $10 holla, Kenneth Maynard. But the Texas Longhorns could not win the Big 12 conference. Then they go to the SEC. And what happened last year. So there are examples both ways. But thank you, Kenneth Maynard. I appreciate the spirit of the super chat. I appreciate your message. Thank you so very much. In fact, let me show you guys something. I know we got a lot to get to. The news is going to be hitting us left and right here. Let me show you, going back to Kenneth Maynard's super chat. Take a look at this. Florida State was the strongest voice against adding Stanford to the ACC and filed suit, saying they diluted the strength of schedule of the conference. The ACC's already deemed inadequate strength of schedule rating going forward. This will necessarily handicap ACC members vying for a position in the future college football playoffs against peers from other Power 4 conferences, including peers with inferior one-loss records. They were completely against the addition of Stanford because it was going to hurt their strength of schedule. Florida State goes to Stanford and loses. This is why, one of the many reasons why the Seminoles have to flip the script. They can't go another week no way can they go another week like this. In my strongly held opinion. No way. Let's go back to the roll call here. Tomas is in the house. Christopher Hooter. Scott Grable, big win for Alabama. Illini Ted is in the house. Friends call me Sean. Florida State and Florida in a race for Franklin. Interesting. I think Florida, don't you think it's going to be Lane Kiffin for Florida? Vox Quindaro, Gophers going to go. Thank you, Vox Quindaro. Rock Chalk Jayhawk is in the house. Thomas Moss is in the house. Thank you, Napier. The arrests have been down, balanced recruiting classes, retaining players. Florida is an attractive place for the next coach. It is. Anthony Carlson is here. I wonder if Michigan State is going to stay the course or fire Jonathan Smith like everybody else would and did. Now, I think Jonathan Smith is going to get one more year. I think he's going to get his third year. What do you think, Anthony Carlson? What do you think, Mr. Spartan? Do you think Jonathan Smith is going to be let go after year 2? I got a feeling that Jonathan Smith is going to be forced to fire that defensive coordinator he has, Joe Rossi, who did such a good job at Minnesota, but things have not gone well in East Lansing. Thank you for coming on in, Sparty. I appreciate it. Facts, Matt Rule is 2-23 against the top 25. Nebraska is 0-28 the last 28 games against ranked teams. Flugs, are you feeling safe with PJ? He always seems to be rumored. I think PJ could end up leaving. I've thought that every single year. There's a chance. There is a thought, what would PJ Fleck do if he would go somewhere and have the resources and the recruiting grounds in his backyard? How would PJ Fleck do? I happen to think he would do great. And I got a feeling that he thinks he would do great. Every coach needs to scratch that itch. The problem is, there's not Minnesota is at the bottom, probably fourth to the bottom in the Big Ten when it comes to resources. At the bottom when it comes to recruiting grounds, football recruiting grounds. But, again, Minnesota probably has as much resources as... I don't think PJ is going to go to the Big 12. There might be a couple ACC jobs that he'd be interested in. There might be one or two Southeastern... I don't know. There's not many spots for PJ to go to. Because PJ is a different cat, right? If you bring him in, if you bring PJ Fleck in, the athletic director is going to have to explain why they're bringing in such a unique person. A person who's going to do a whole bunch of crazy things in their athletic village. He's going to put up a whole bunch of slogans. And so, but he's an excellent coach. Excellent coach. John Grove is in the house. It just happened. Don Scruggs is here. Ryan Brooks, go Tigers. We got to talk about Brian Kelly. Rodney Richborg, fire Brian Kelly. Who else is here? Humble Bumble Duck is in the house. Chief fan, Daniel Dilley. The Jed Fesh rumors to Florida are going to start flying. John Teal, Super Chat. Also, Arizona State couldn't win the PAC, but they go to the Big 12 and they won. Yeah, there's examples both ways. Thank you, John Teal. Thank you for the $2 holla. Thank you for that great example. Thank you for your donation. I appreciate it. We got another super chat. The Evil Badger. The Evil Badger has a statement to make. This is PATC Aftermath Show. After week 8, Ryan Willie, the legendary PATC Evil Badger. What will they do when season ticket sales plummet? I won't renew my season tickets if Fickle is still the head coach. McIntosh has to go too. I don't know what's going to happen, Ryan Willie, but there is a major report out there from On3 that one of the options that Wisconsin is looking at is giving Luke Fickle another year. McIntosh comes back. You put that money that you were going to lose by paying off your coaching staff and some of the buyout, and you're going to push it into NIL. You're going to double down on Luke Fickle. You're going to double down on Luke Fickle. That's in the reporting of this morning. We'll find out together, my friend, what is Wisconsin's decision on that. Thank you for the $5 holler. I appreciate it. We've got another super chat. Christopher Hooter. Florida is a tough gig. While it has swagger, money, I'm not sure it's a good job. My hunch, Lane Kiffin squeezes Ole Miss for money, more money, but stays put. Could be. I'm going to bet the other way. I think Lane Kiffin is going to want to get, I think, Lane Kiffin, no disrespect to Ole Miss. They've got the inside track to go to the college football playoffs. But I just, in my mind, I see Lane Kiffin as a Gator. So when it happens officially, Hot Board 1.0, Lane Kiffin is going to be the number one candidate for the job. We'll see what happens. Thank you, Christopher Hooter. I appreciate the $5 holla. I appreciate your support, my friend. Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much. Morris Simmons is in the house. Mike is going to be fired. He's got to be fired. Nebraska Steve is in the house. Stanford and Cal are most certainly geographical misfits with the ACC. Who else is here? Matt Trope. Wisconsin has scored 3 points in the last 11 quarters of football. Florida can have Rich Rod. My goodness. My goodness. How would you feel if PJ Fleck went to Wisconsin? How would I put that? If PJ Fleck went to Wisconsin, which he's not going to do, but if you went to Wisconsin, I would wait until the dead of winter, where we have a lot of snow in our yard at our home here, as we often do here in Minnesota. I would wait until the dead of winter, where the snow has accumulated, where we have big, big snow dunes with the wind, big mountains of snow close to the house. I would take a ladder. I would climb up to the top of the house. I would look down. I would jump. The fat guy from Minnesota would hit that snow, and I would go deep into the snow. Nobody would find me until spring. That is what I would do if PJ Fleck went to Wisconsin. Anthony Eason is in the house. Okay, guys, let's go quickly through this. Thank you, guys. Christopher Hooter, Ryan, Willie, John Teal, appreciate it. Bill G, 5 gifted memberships. He did it again. He did it again. Holy smokes, he did it again. Thank you so very much, Bill G. Pretty Knoll Girl, BR7062, Ramesh Lance, Robbie Heck Music, and Kevin all received a gift membership. All of you did. Because of the generosity of Bill G, when you get an opportunity, please say thank you to Bill G in the chat room. All of you are knighted. Peek around the corner. College footballs. Peek around the corner. Cloak and dagger. A lot of cloak and dagger going on in the coaching carousel. Thank you, Bill G. Thank you so very much, sir. I very much appreciate it. Thank you so very much. How would you feel if Nebraska traded Matt Rhule to Minnesota in exchange for PJ Fleck going to Nebraska? There would have to be some cash on hand. Minnesota don't have the cash that Nebraska has. So you add, $15 million to that trade, and I'll think about it, Nebraska Steve, because we are poor in Minnesota. You guys are rich in Nebraska. It'd be like a Yankees Minnesota Twins trade. Whatever trade we're doing, Yankees, you got to kick us some money. You got to kick us over some money. So if we could trade head coaches, I don't think Minnesota would still do that. But give us $15 million, Steve, and I'll think about it. I will think about it. Okay, guys. Wisconsin fans wouldn't want Fleck. Well, thank you for the $2 holler, Ryan Willie. Probably not. Probably not. Okay, let me just do something real quick here. And then keep your head on a swivel for any official news on Billy Napier or anything else that's going on. But we are expecting the Billy Napier news to be official during this live show. We think that Billy Napier is going to be let go this afternoon, according to multiple reports. And right away here at Peek Around the Corner, we're not going to waste one moment. We are going to put Lane Kiffin. We are going to put Lane Kiffin as the number one on the Florida Gators hot board, 1.0 hot board. It's going to be Lane Kiffin, the head coach of Ole Miss. Number two, we're going to go ahead and say it because we've been talking and talking to people about it. We are going to put Eli Drinkwitz as number two on the Gators hot board list. We think it's going to be Napier first. Oh, there it is. We got breaking news. Breaking news. Hold on, everybody. Hold on, everybody. Hold on. And there it is. There it is, guys. There it is. Breaking news. Breaking news. On three, Florida has fired Billy Napier. Brett McMurphy, Pete Knuckles, and everybody else in the community. Let me quickly edit the title of the show. We had word this was going to happen, so we put it on the title. Billy Napier fired as head coach of Florida. Okay. Alrighty. So that went about as expected. Big news, guys. I think there's going to be a lot of interest in this job. Kiffin will just get a raise, an extension from Ole Miss. You guys, I sound like a jerk when I say this. But don't you think Lane Kiffin is the guy that wants to have a job that gives him all the bells and whistles? Ole Miss gives him a lot of bells, but Ole Miss doesn't give him everything. It's a great job, but I think I don't think Lane Kiffin, Christopher Hooter, expectations are manageable at Ole Miss. I don't think Lane Kiffin is interested in managing expectations. I think he wants that Alabama job, that Georgia job. Florida's the next level down. It is not at the level of Florida. No, it isn't. Ole Miss, it isn't. Look, Kiffin number one, number two is Drinkwitz. Why fire him after a win, though? Well, this coaching carousel is getting crowded, and it's going to get even more crowded. And if you don't believe in the guy, if you don't think you can turn it around, you've got to get your athletic director and whoever is doing the coaching search, you've got to have them, to give them the ability to start calling potential candidates, agents. You've got to get in. You got to get into the mix. I believe, I could be wrong. Someone let me know, but isn't the early signing period like the early signing date? Isn't it like December 3rd or 4th? It used to be like December 20th. Do I got that wrong? that early signing day has been jacked way up. I think. I could be wrong. Let me know. Someone Google it. Let me know. Okay. Alrighty. We'll go back to the breaking news because that's what this is. Breaking news. Thank you for everybody showing me the DMs, sending me DMs on Florida. It is official. They have fired Billy Napier. The Athletic. Billy Napier had an 8-21 record at Florida versus teams with winning records. Napier did go 14-2 versus teams that were 6-6 or worse. Okay, let's go through the aftermath. We're talking about the aftermath of Florida. There's a whole lot of other things going on. There's Mike Norvell, replicas in the house, Mr. Longhorn. You got Norvell. You've got Hugh Freeze. You got Luke Fickell. There's a lot of discomfort around LSU because I don't think people are bought in anymore that Brian Kelly can bring LSU to an SEC championship, much less a national championship. But first, let's do the painful going through these predictions. We're going to go through this quick because, as I said at the beginning of the show, the 3-week streak of Greg DeGold is now over. Ole Miss, Georgia. I had Ole Miss. You all had Ole Miss. That was a loss. Ole Miss did not cover. Georgia won by 8 points. Tennessee, Alabama. We both had Alabama. Both were a winner. Pick 6 at the goal line. Pick 6, Alabama. Swagular again throws that crucial interception. LSU, Vanderbilt. I took Vanderbilt. You all took LSU. I took Vanderbilt. USC, Notre Dame, we both took USC. And we are going to talk about USC. We're going to talk about Lincoln Riley. Lincoln Riley. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? It was so egregious that even Lincoln Riley in his press conference said it was a stupid call on his part. But that's what he does. Guys, okay, we're going to talk we're going to take a moment and talk about it right now. When Lincoln Riley, he's a great play caller. He's a great development of quarterbacks. He is. You rarely have a USC. You rarely have an Oklahoma. You rarely have a Lincoln Riley's offense have any true dips. He can recruit. He can evaluate. He can develop. He can play call. Lincoln Riley has a lot of strengths. But he's got one massive weakness. One massive weakness. And that is when things are going good. When things are going good, Lincoln Riley has to reach another sugar high, another hit, another bong. I don't know what analogy. He has to. He does this every time when his offense is cooking. He wants to throw a whole bunch of more gasoline on it. How can you have a wide receiver? How can you have him? How can you call that play? To have Lemon throw the football. It's raining, it's wet, it's windy. You're driving the ball, you've got all the momentum, and you have a wide receiver throwing the football. He couldn't even grip the football. He couldn't even... What are you doing? That game, that play... Yeah. Market text. Beautiful comment. Lincoln Riley has to be the smartest man in the room. Absolutely. Market text said it 1,000 times better than I just said it. It's like he has to reach for greatness. You don't have to do it. They're not getting rid of Lincoln Riley. They can't afford it. They're not getting Lincoln Riley is not on the hot seat. Lincoln Riley is not on the warm seat. But gosh, he's got to mature. He's a brilliant guy, but he has done this over and over in Big Ten football, where he's got the team on the ropes. And he wants to do the rope-a-dope. He wants to do something special in the middle of the ring. And then he gets hit with a sucker punch because he leaves himself wide open. USC, you could have won that game. CJ Carr did not play well. Jeremiah Love was a superstar again, of course. But how many other Notre Dame Fighting Irish players had a good game? They were clutching and grabbing the secondary. They could not keep up with Lane and Lemon. They could not. USC had Notre Dame on the ropes multiple times. And they let the Fighting Irish off the hook because of Lincoln Riley. Lincoln Riley had to be the smartest guy in the room again. Unbelievable. Okay, so we both lost that one. Utah, BYU, this was a heavyweight fight. And Bear Bachmeier is Superman. So when I say Superman is the quarterback of BYU, I might not even use the name Bear Bachmeier anymore. I'm just going to call him Superman. He does everything right when they need him. He bowling people over. People can't tackle him. If it's a 3rd and 8 and he takes off, he's going to make first down. He's going to find the open receiver. Bear Bachmeier is Superman. Bear Bachmeier is Superman without a cape. Period. This Bear Bachmeier, he's a true freshman. And he's going to be on my Heisman watch list this week. He'd probably be the top guy if it wasn't for that quarterback of the Buckeyes. My God, Julian Sayin, talking about having a perfect season. Talking about not Julian Sayin is whoever Superman's father was. That's Julian Sayin. Bear Bachmeier is Superman. Incredible football game. Again, BYU did what Texas Tech did. BYU said, Devin Napier, beat us long. Beat us on a long throw. Had Devin Napier set up and throw that long pass and see if he can beat us. But if he ain't, Utah's in trouble because BYU is going to keep going closer. They were going to keep going up at the line. They were going to keep filling the box. They were going to keep bringing their safeties closer. They were going to keep going up and up and up. BYU defenders were on their toes. They were not on their heels. And there's nothing that Utah could do about it. Now, I think Whittingham made a few mistakes in that game. He should have went for field goals. But BYU is the better team. BYU Texas Tech is going to be a phenomenal game. I was impressed with Texas Tech. They were outplayed for large portions of the Arizona State game. They came back. They showed tenacity. Even in that loss, the Red Raiders showed me something. And of course, Sam Levitt, Tyson, those two cats. Boy, those guys can play football. Louisville, Miami. We talked about this. We talked about this yesterday. Of course, I got it wrong. You guys got it wrong. Carson Beck, is he shattered or is he going to be able to recover after this game? That's the question I have to you all. That's the question I have to you all. Can Carson Beck, to me, it's about Carson Beck. And not be so reliant on the great Malachi Toney. More distribution to your other weapons. I think that's got to be part of Miami's offensive plan going forward. Can Carson Beck recover? Georgia Tech and Duke. Of course, I took Duke. And Duke outplayed Georgia Tech for most of the game. But Georgia Tech, they did it. They did it. First time 7-0 since, 1968, 1966. Congratulations to the Rambling Wreck of Georgia Tech. Arkansas, Texas A&M. I got this one right. You got it wrong. You guys took Texas A&M. I took Arkansas to cover. Arkansas lost by 3. We both took TCU. They covered. I don't know what I was thinking. I took Clemson. Klubnik out. SMU wins. And SMU is undefeated again in the ACC. The SMU Mustangs are undefeated again in the Atlantic Coast Conference. Missouri Auburn. I got a little lucky here. I took Missouri. Got it right. You guys got it right. So Greg the Cooler went 5-6. The PATC Einsteins went 6-5. My record against the spread now sits at 57-53. You all sit at 53-57. You closed one game on me this week, but I'm going to get it back together in week 9. I am going to get it back together in week 9. What is Hold on. Holy smokes. We got breaking news. The AP Top 25 has just been released. The AP Top 25 has just been released. And there is a new team listed as other receiving votes. Get a load of this. Your beloved Minnesota Golden Gophers have received a vote. They have received a vote. Let's go. Yes. Minnesota receives one vote, TCU 2. What idiot gave Minnesota a vote? What moron gave the Gophers a vote? TCU got 2 votes. Boise State 4. James Madison 6. San Diego State 7. Navy 28. Houston 34. Tulane 37. Utah 40. Southern Cal 97. Michigan back in the top 25 with 123 votes. Arizona State, number 24. Number 23, the Fighting Illini. Number 22, Texas. Number 21, Cincinnati. They move up 3 spots with another victory. LSU go down 10 spots. LSU Tigers go down from 10 to 20. Wow. Louisville Cardinals, number 19. There it is, South Florida. They got to be leading the pack for the G6, G5 right now. South Florida, number 18. Number 17, the Tennessee Volunteers. Number 16, Virginia Cavaliers. They come back and they beat Washington State in a close game at home. Congratulations to Tony Elliott. Missouri, number 15. Number 14, Texas Tech Red Raiders. They drop from 7 to 14. Oklahoma go to 14 to 13. Notre Dame, they're at 12. If Notre Dame wins the rest of the games, the Fighting Irish are going to be in the playoffs. Number 11, the BYU Cougars. The BYU Cougars have moved up all the way to number 11, led by quarterback Superman. Number 10, Vanderbilt, and they deserve it. The Vanderbilt Commodores deserves number 10. The Miami Hurricanes go from 2 to 9. Ole Miss go from 5 to 8. Number 7, Georgia Tech, the Rambling Wreck of Georgia Tech, number 7 in the land. Number 6, the Oregon Ducks. They crushed the Rutgers. Number 5, Georgia. They go up 4 spots, defeat Ole Miss, come back and defeat Ole Miss. Number 4, Alabama. Number 3, Texas A&M. And that leaves your Indiana Hoosiers as the number 2 team in the country. Your Indiana Hoosiers. And number 1, your reigning, defending national champions, the Ohio State Buckeyes. That is your top 25. Wow. Top 25. My goodness, we got a super chat. Helmer Hennison, $2 holla. Can you see Brian Kelly at Penn State? I can see Brian Kelly have an interest at Penn State. I don't know if I'm not sure I see Penn State have an interest in Brian Kelly. I do think there is an unfortunate, I should not say unfortunate. This is not really a Brian Kelly. Some of it is. We are in a different era, right, of college football coaches, where there's a lot more parity. There isn't not a whole lot of parity out there, but there's more parity, right? A Vanderbilt can rise up. Indiana can rise up. We got examples all over the place. Brian Kelly, I think athletic directors, coaching searches are going to be making sure that their new coach fits in the new era. And unfortunately, I don't know what word to use, but I think some of these coaches that have been around for a long time, they might be overlooked. I mean, they might not overlook. That's the wrong word as well. Their resumes may not shine like they used to, where they had a whole lot of success for a whole lot of years at a place where they had a whole lot more resources. But since the last couple of years, maybe they're not getting as much out of the program that they're at, that people perceive them. I think they might be looked over. I think is Brian Kelly really going to get a top flight job if he gets fired here at LSU at the end of the season or at next year? Is he going to get another, what I would call blue blood job, top flight job, elite job? I don't know. I really don't know, guys. I have my doubts. I give James Franklin more of a chance to get a top flight job than I do Brian Kelly. But I don't even know where I don't know who's going to have James Franklin as the number one guy, number one target. I'm talking about a top flight program. I think Willingham is going to retire, to be honest with you. I think Willingham is another guy who's been around a long time. He's had a lot of success. But I think some of these great coaches are I think these programs are going to be looking for different types of head coaches. We'll see. Marcus Williams, the Big Ten can have 4 teams in the playoff if Michigan wins out and beats the Buckeyes. I don't know who's going to beat the Buckeyes. I don't know who's going to beat that team. Don Scruggs, some of the AP must not be watching how Georgia is dominating its opponents. Don. Now, somebody put in the chat room that Beamer was gone from South Carolina. I'm guessing that was inaccurate, right? Because I'm not seeing any news that Shane Beamer is gone from South Carolina. I can't believe he would be let go. They're struggling. They do not have an offensive line. They are struggling. But I don't think, I cannot see them letting Beamer go. Okay, now let's go. Before we get to your phone calls and other items here, let me, we haven't gone through the football games yet, like we always do. This is the Aftermath show. Every Sunday we do the Aftermath. We're going to be talking more about Billy Napier, the firing of Billy Napier at Florida. But let's talk about what happened first in the SEC. And then we'll get to your phone calls. Texas A&M hangs on to win. Texas A&M is now the number 3 team in the nation behind the Buckeyes and the Indiana Hoosiers. Texas A&M 45, Arkansas 42. Georgia comes back with 17 unanswered points in the fourth quarter. And they defeat the Ole Miss Rebels 43-35. And again, Gunnar Stockton is a player. He's a player. He's going to fight tooth and nail all the way to at the bell. Alabama 37, Tennessee 20. The pick 6 turned that game around for Alabama. Vanderbilt 31, LSU 24. Vanderbilt has got a shot to get to the college football playoffs. I think it is a very good chance, unless Michigan does the unthinkable. I don't think Michigan's going to beat the Buckeyes. I know they've been owning the Buckeyes, but unless Michigan beat the Buckeyes, I think the Southeastern Conference is in line to get 5 teams in the playoffs this year. Big 12, 1 team, ACC 2, Notre Dame 1, something to that effect. Oklahoma 26, South Carolina 7. Missouri 23, Auburn 17. Texas squeaks out a victory overtime against Kentucky 16-13. Florida 23-21, and again Billy Napier fired today. The Florida Gators are now in search of a new head coach. Let's take a look at the ACC. Louisville 24, Miami 21. We talked about the game yesterday during our watch party of Vanderbilt LSU. Miami could not get it done. Their offensive line could not move around the Louisville Cardinals in the way that I thought they would. Jeff Brom, again, another big-time victory against the number 2 rated team in the country. California squeaks on by and defeats North Carolina 21-18. Georgia Tech 27, Duke 18. Georgia Tech is now number 7 in the land. Virginia 22, Washington State 20. Virginia with 12 unanswered points comes back with a home victory. UConn 38, Boston College 23. UConn 5-2 overall. SMU 35, Clemson 24. SMU is 3-0 in the ACC. The ACC race is crazy. We'll get to that in a moment. Pittsburgh 30, Syracuse 13. Stanford 20, Florida State 13. I do not know how Mike Norvell lasts the day today. I don't know how he survives tomorrow. The Big 12, a big upset. The reigning, defending Big 12 champions, the Arizona State Sun Devils, defeat the undefeated Red Raiders 26-22. Texas Tech was losing 19-17. They come all the way back, led by Will Hammond. They took a 22-19 lead, but then it was 4th down. Arizona State had the ball, about 40 seconds to go. Sam Levitt, the quarterback, rushes out of the pocket. Tyson, the great wide receiver, is covered, but then he sneaks by the defender, kind of curls into the right hash mark. Levitt on the run, gives it to Tyson, completes it, about a 40-yard gain. Arizona State goes down, scores a touchdown, 26-22, a thriller. A heavyweight fight, the Holy War. BYU 24, Utah 21. We already talked about this game. The quarterback Superman of the Cougars led the Cougars to victory over the Utah Utes. Cincinnati goes 4-0 in the Big 12. 4-0. The Bearcats 49-17. Houston 3-1 in the Big 12. They defeat Arizona 31-28. TCU hangs on 42-36 over Baylor. UCF 45. West Virginia goes 0-4 along with the Oklahoma State Cowboys. The bottom of the Big 12, 45-13 UCF. Now we go to the Big 10. We're going to get to your phone calls in a little bit here. On Friday, we've talked about it. Minnesota Gophers 24, Nebraska 6. The Buckeyes with another shutout. 34, Wisconsin 0. I should say Wisconsin got shut out again. Luke Fickell, does he go? Does he survive? The Indiana Hoosiers 38, Michigan State 13, Oregon 56, Rutgers 10. I think the Ducks got 750 yards of offense. Notre Dame 34, USC 24, Michigan 24, Washington 7, Michigan getting back in the playoff race. Northwestern shuts out Purdue 19-0. Iowa 25, Penn State 24, UCLA 20, Maryland 17. The Bruins do it again. They're 3-1 in the Big Ten. And by the way, next Saturday, 3:30 Eastern Time, for the Florida of Rosedale, for the Bronze Pig, the Hawkeyes, the Gophers. 3:30 Eastern Time, CBS. Okay, we went through all that. All right, guys, let's get to your phone calls, to your comments. Phone calls and comments. Hold on. There it is. The Florida Rosedale. The Iowa Hawkeyes have it, and the Minnesota Golden Gophers are about to take it away. About to take it away. Let's go. Let's go. Okay. We are going to get to your phone calls here. We've got ourselves a super chat. We'll get to you next, Amazing Blue. John Till, Brian Kelly is done, and Penn State doesn't want him. The last 3 LSU coaches won a natty, and it's time to riverboat Lane with that in-state recruiting will be insane. John Till believes that LSU should go after Lane Kiffin. Very interesting. I do think that Lane Kiffin is a Florida Gator type of guy, but very interesting, John Till. And again, we don't know if Brian Kelly is going to be done. We don't know that. Don't know that, but thank you so much for your $10 holler, John Till. I appreciate your super chat. Interesting. Riverboat Lane in LSU. That'd be quite the party. That'd be quite the party. Thank you, John Till. Appreciate it. Amazing Blue. 62 passing yards. Wood. 13-10, Greg. I don't know what this is in 13-10. Are you talking about Iowa, Minnesota next week? You're talking about Michigan and the Buckeyes last year? That's what you're talking about. That was 13-10 with about 62 passing yards. I'm not trying to look, Michigan's defense, tough running backs. Yeah, Donovan McCauley, the receiver, has produced more than I thought he was going to. I bragged on Bryce Underwood yesterday because that was our secondary game. A couple of those throws that Bryce Underwood made were spectacular. I was bragging about Bryce Underwood yesterday, but I do not think you're going to beat the Buckeyes. I got to be honest, Amazing Blue. I got to be honest, but I know you're going to give it your best shot. Thank you for the $2 holler. Thank you for the $2 holler. I appreciate it so very much. Helmer Hennison, super chat. Is excessive use of the portal killing Florida State? Is not doing good talent evaluations when it comes to their high school classes might be killing Florida State? The main, I don't follow it as closely as, obviously, as the Seminole fans do, but to me, it seems like the story is that Mike Norvell's high school classes have been very poor. I'm not talking about the rankings. But I'm talking about the actual talent that they bring in and they don't produce, so then they have to go to the portal. I think going to the portal is a result of them not, they're having a terrible evaluation of their high school classes. That's what I think it is. Also, if you, I don't care how talented you are or not talented you are. I mean, Florida State, if you watch them, it's confusion out there. On the sidelines, Mike Duval has a look of confusion. The guys coming in and off the field, they're going off sides on a field goal attempt, a short field goal attempt. They're constantly doing things, these penalties. So I think it's a lot of things. But whatever, ultimately, you can't, as the Florida State Seminole, you cannot lose. You can't go a whole calendar year without winning an ACC football game. Not if you're Florida State. The negative recruiting on this is going to be epic. Can you imagine? Can you imagine Florida State trying to keep that recruiting class that they've got together? Everyone's going to be... Florida State went a whole year without winning one ACC football. They've got to make a change, in my opinion. Just my opinion. Another super chat by Helmer Hennison. But you did not believe in Michigan over Ohio State last year either.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Yeah, but can I go 0-2 on something that I completely don't believe and it's going to happen? Yeah, you're right. You're right. Michigan does have a shot. Michigan is going to bring it. They're going to absolutely bring it. I get it. But man. Marcus Williams, last year the Buckeyes were the best team and the money could buy, and we still won. I don't know. Julian Sayin is better than Howard. And that's not a shot at Howard. Julian Sayin is... crazy right now. He's absolutely nuts. Michigan beats the Buckeyes again. Huff for Billy Paul. Thanks for coming on in. Bama lost to Florida State. Good point. All right. I'll lay off Michigan. I'll lay off everybody that's playing the Buckeyes. Got it. All right, we're going to find out. Okay, let me see if I got all the donations. Thank you guys. Hummer Hennison, appreciate it. John Till, Amazing Blue, Ryan Willie, Christopher Hura, Bill G, Kenneth Maynard, Heartbreak 25. We are going to open up the phone lines. 763-260-1333. 763-260-1333. Let me know if there's any other rumors, reports about the coaching carousel. Talk to me about your team.
Call from
Christopher Hooter.
Christopher Hooter, the floor is yours. Thanks for calling LSU Tiger. Go ahead, sir.
Well, it was one of those days, right?
Yeah.
But in this new era of parity, Vanderbilt had a bye week. They were coming off a loss and they were angry.
Yep.
And, in this new world order, maybe that's just kind of a pretty good team with a pretty good bounce back game, right?
Yeah.
And maybe it's no more complicated than that.
Yeah.
Right? Brian Kelly's safe. He's got a $50 million buyout if fired without cause, and they're going to owe, I think, 90% of it within, 30 days or something.
Yeah.
So they're not going to fire Brian Kelly. And next year is a rebuild, so they're probably not going to fire him next year either. And so well, she's just going to learn to live with Brian Kelly, okay?
Yeah.
But at this point, maybe it's a shotgun marriage, but I think I don't know. I still think the guy's a pretty good coach, but I'm like you. His resume was earned in a previous era.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're in this new world order where my goodness, where Vanderbilt is 6-1 now. What are they?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
I mean, that's in the defense for us, right?
Yeah.
So, and then these coaches in Napier, it kind of seems like the quarterback doesn't pan out. You just don't have a chance, right?
Yeah.
It's not like the good old days where you could just have a game manager.
Yeah. Yeah, if you have if you have a stud running back and a stud offensive line, it's even very difficult to have a dominant offensive line nowadays.
Yes.
Because people are willing to spend their rev share, the NIL money, to take away this. These big time SEC programs, they would be too deep on the offensive defensive line, but that's not happening anymore. So you have injuries, and then suddenly you're not that much better than the non-blue blood team,
Right, and maybe a little parity is good.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not good for my program, but maybe it is overall.
Yeah.
And it can give other people hope, right?
Yes.
So, it's a new world, and I don't know. I do have sympathy for the coaches, and like I said, how big's their staff now? How many people are they managing?
A lot. Yes.
A lot.
It's a big investment now. It's a big investment.
You're almost like you're the CEO of a medium-sized company or something, right? I mean, you've got, I don't know, they got 30, 40 employees. I mean, working underneath them with grad assists and advisors and, of course, coordinators and whatnot. I mean, they probably don't even do X's and O's anymore, the head coach of Nova. So, Anyway. So, well, I like Billy Napier. I'm sorry it happened to him, but I guess I'm not surprised. I think I'm with you. Norvell's next.
I think so. He's got to be next.
Yep.
All righty, sir.
So anyway, enjoyed the chat, and go Tigers. We'll bounce back, but we got our bounce back game coming, okay?
You got it, buddy. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Talk to you. Okay. Yeah, bye.
Beautiful. Christopher Hooter doesn't think Brian Kelly's going anytime soon. Uh-oh. Ryan Willie. Are you there? Hello? Ryan Willie, please call. I just missed you. Ryan Willie, please call back. We just missed you. Vanderbilt stuffed cleats up teams last year as well. Thank you, John Teal, for the super chat. Very much appreciated. Thank you, sir. Yeah, Vanderbilt was very tough last year. They're even tougher this year. And Diego Pavia, the starting quarterback, warned everybody. He warned everybody. He said we're gonna go to that SEC championship game. And sure enough, they're sitting pretty. That Vanderbilt Tennessee game at the end of the year, I think it's in Knoxville. Let me know if I got that wrong.
Call from
Evil Badger.
Evil Badger, the floor is yours. Tell me what you're thinking, man. Tell me what you are thinking.
Thanks for taking my call.
You got it, buddy.
As far as Fickle and McIntosh go, I mean, it's really bad at Wisconsin games now, because after the first series of plays that Wisconsin had, they said a fire Fickle chance.
Yeah.
And what is that showing any possible recruit going over national television on CBS?
Yeah. Yeah, it's getting bad. It's getting bad, and it's starting to snowball. You got 4-star high school Wisconsin players coming to the Minnesota games. When you know that's unheard of.
It's bad.
Yeah, that's bad.
And everybody, all the podcasters around the Wisconsin program are calling for Fickle and McIntosh to go, and Mnuchin, I think she's the chancellor or president, UW chancellor or president, is doubling down on all this. What are they going to do when all the season ticket holders? I mean, I actually heard more people yesterday talk about dropping their season tickets.
Yeah.
And I am going to do that if Fickle remains at Wisconsin. Heck, I would take his resignation now if he wanted to give it. But
the student section is not showing up now.
It's only 3/4 of the way full. I mean, the entire stadium. The student section was like half full up until halftime, and then they all left after a jump around.
Yeah.
And I mean, why? It's going to destroy the program the longer they wait.
Yeah.
There were some rumors that they were going to wait till after Oregon on Saturday, then cut them loose. But now, as of last night, I started hearing what the story that you reported today, them keeping Fickle through next year.
Yes, that report is out there. That's an option they're looking at.
Well, it's an option that the ticket holders do not like.
Yeah, it's a tough spot, man. It's a tough spot. It's tough.
And they think they got an easier schedule next year. They got Notre Dame at the beginning of the season at Lambeau Field.
Mm-hmm.
And then they get Pitt. I believe it's at Camp Randall. And then the following year, they play Pitt in Dublin.
Yep.
In 2027. It's just frustrating, but this evil badger is not happy right now.
No, it's and it's really bad on the message boards. It's really bad. It's become toxic.
But they're like, Summoner knows that the fans, like, they're not listening to what people are saying.
Yeah.
Especially at the games.
Who would you like as besides John Gruden? Who would you like as the head coach? I know you want John Gruden, or you want him to be a candidate, but besides John Gruden, who do you think would be a good candidate for Wisconsin?
Okay, I did say before that Leipold from Kansas I would accept. I did think that if LSU does get rid of Brian Kelly, maybe kicking the tires and see if he would be interested. But there's also a rumor that former Packer coach Mike McCarthy would possibly be a candidate.
Wow. Wow, that's an interesting name.
Well, the Packers and Badgers, would the coaches would at least meet during the summer camp and the fall camp and discuss coaching theories and all that. And So they do know each other in that way.
That's interesting. Interesting name. Maybe you get like a general manager with them.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
What would you think about possibly Franklin?
I definitely think Wisconsin would want to reach out, but I don't know if Wisconsin is something that Franklin. You know, I'm gonna go ahead and bet against. I don't think Franklin is gonna be a Big Ten head coach. I think he's going to be in the Southeastern Conference in the ACC, one of those two conferences.
And that's why he went on ESPN.
Well, I don't know. I mean, maybe, but I think I don't think he's going to be. Yeah, I think he's going to be back to the SEC or like with Arkansas or something, or the ACC. That's my prediction. I don't think he's going to want to go up
I think
against,
Franklin would be interested in Florida now.
Yeah, I don't think Franklin is going to want to go up against the Buckeyes, the Wolverines, and the Nittany Lions.
If he wants to off the schedule.
Yeah, and he's not going to be the head coach of Oregon. So it's like he's already going to be basically. No offense to Wisconsin or any other Big Ten program, but he'd be taking a step down. I think he wants to take. I think he would rather take a step to the right or left.
What you're saying is Franklin would want an easier schedule because I believe that the Big Ten is better than the SEC. You might disagree, but honestly, I believe. Based on past history in the bowl games, the Big Ten does better in bowl games against the SEC than vice versa. And so I just think that he knows that the Big Ten is a tougher conference.
Yeah.
But I'll leave it at that.
All righty, man. I appreciate
thanks
the
for taking
phone
my
call,
call.
sir. Thank you very much.
Right.
Beautiful. Ryan Willie, the Evil Badger. He is hoping, he is praying that Wisconsin makes the move. Ryan Willie is hoping and praying that Wisconsin moves out of Luke Fickell and the athletic director. There is reports this morning that Wisconsin, by on 3, Wisconsin is looking at the option of keeping Fickell for another year, the athletic director, McIntosh, for another year. In Wisconsin would plow more money into the NIL program. We've got ourselves a super chat. Expedition Greg. The Buckeyes. Ohio State has only allowed 41 points to the first 7 games, fewest since 1993. $5 holla. Yeah, the Buckeyes are. It's going to be tough to beat them in the playoffs. And Michigan, it's going to be. I'm just saying, the Buckeyes are very. Again, we'll see what happens. John Teal, Fran Brown is someone Penn State should take a look at. Thank you for the super chat, John Teal. Fran Brown having some success at Syracuse. What about, I got a name. I've got a name, a possible name. A possible name. Hold on, everybody.
Call from
Larry Andrick.
Larry Andrick, Mr. Mountaineer. The floor is definitely yours. How you doing, sir?
Oh, this season I'm not doing very well, to be honest with you.
I'm sorry,
I
sir.
Yeah, I know. I expected it to some point.
Yeah.
But what I wanted to say is every Mountaineer, a lot of them are really down on the coach and the players and all that. My thing is he got in late,
Yes.
didn't have a recruiting class that he brought in, didn't have most of the good players that was in the portal have already went. He got what he could get, and I think when I first called you, I said I didn't want him at all.
Yeah.
I thought I wouldn't even say his name, Rodriguez, but honest to goodness, I think he's a good coach, and I think we ought to give him a chance. Fans ought to sort of settle down. We're not going to win any more games this year. That's it. We're going to be 10-2. You can see it coming, but I still think next year he has his first recruiting class. We've got some good players coming in, and he's got a lot of extra money in the bank already for transfer portal people. And I do think that West Virginia next year will probably be in the middle to top of the Big 12. And then if in his third year we're not within the first four, then you can bitch at him, and I think that would be a fair assessment. But first year, with all the things that happened to him, I just can't imagine, doing that to him. And that was really, I just wanted all Mountaineer Nation that follows you to settle down and just think what's going on. And you look around this college, it don't pay to lose games. They fire you right now anymore. It's getting a little out of hand for coaches. It's getting out of hand for, I think, I don't know if these coaches are good, but Franklin, as much as I don't like Penn State and I didn't like Franklin, I think he did a damn good job at Penn State. And that's a shame to get fired when you had worst season up there they had before he left was 10-2 and in the last bunch of years. Most schools would be tickled to death with that. I think that this college football is getting out of hand. These players are wanting millions, and the coaches are getting fired for something they can't control.
And it's getting more expensive for us, right?
Yes. West Virginia's got one of the highest football to go to a game in the nation. Mm-hmm. And, I can understand we're a small school and we have to make money that way, but wow, you can go to Ohio State cheaper than you can go to a West Virginia game. Yeah. And that don't make any sense to me, but I do know they got to make money, I guess. And that's one of the ways they try. I just thought I'd call because I haven't called for a while and say hi and let all PC Nation that I'm still here. And thank you for taking my call, and I love your show, Greg. I don't miss it.
Thank you, Larry.
But if I don't catch you when you come on, I can always catch it later.
I appreciate
it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you.
And keep it up, Greg.
You got it, buddy. I will. Thank you, Larry.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Mr. Mountaineer. Mr. Mountaineer, Larry Andrick. I agree with Larry. This is definitely a week zero situation for Rich Rod. This is not this. I'm not week zero. This is year zero. This ain't year one for Rich Rod. You've heard that term, year zero. This is he did not even. Even a moron like me, Greg the Cooler, even a moron like me had West Virginia number 13. Oklahoma State, Arizona has surprised me. UCF has surprised me a lot. But this wasn't going to be a West Virginia. There was no pathway, in my opinion, that West Virginia could compete at the middle in the Big 12. He couldn't go into the portal when the portal had players. He couldn't. Yeah, next year is year one for Rich Rod. Now, I'm not sure about West Virginia finishing in the middle of the conference next year. That might be asking too much. First of all, they're going to have to get an offensive line, and then now they have time, but they're going to have more money, but they need an offensive line. We don't know what Scotty Fox is, and I don't know. I don't know. We'll see, but this is definitely year zero of Rich Rod. I completely agree with Larry Andrick. We've got a super chat. John Teal. It's not about an easier schedule. Franklin needs access to the tools, and Wisconsin is less than Penn State. By the way, UCLA got another victory. Yes, they did. The UCLA Bruins are 3-1 in the Big Ten. 3-1 in the Big Ten. Congratulations, John Till, Mr. Bruin, PATC. And Wisconsin's, they got money, guys. They're not like Minnesota. They got more money than Minnesota. They're on par with Iowa. They got more money than Illinois. They got more money than Northwestern. They got more money than UCLA. They got more money than Rutgers. They got more money than Maryland. They got about the same money as Indiana. More money than Purdue. Wisconsin is they got more money than most of the Big 12 schools. More money than most of the ACC schools. Their recruiting base is not all that particularly. They got more good football players in Wisconsin than Minnesota. That's without a doubt. That's why Wisconsin has to be the offensive line running that football. When Luke Fickell came to Wisconsin and tried that offensive coordinator long ago. Why? That was going to be a hard sell nationally for recruiting. That was going to be a hard sell locally for recruiting. Whoever Wisconsin gets as their next head coach has got it. He's going to have to be committed. He's going to have to be committed to the ground and pound football here in the upper Midwest, where the weather gets different than everywhere else in the beginning of November, late October. They're going to have to go back to the ground and pound. I don't know I don't think Franklin's going to be interested. Thank you, John Till. Thank you for the $5 holla. I appreciate it. Don't forget about my Bearcats, Greg. Yes. Yeah, I blew it on my Bearcats prediction. I said they were going to be better than they were last year. I did say that. But they're 4-0 in the Big 12. 4-0. Christopher Hooter, Super Chat, is the Big Ten and USC pension deal dead? Right now it is. unless there is some compromise in the back rooms of the Big Ten, who knows? Who knows? It could be dead. My big question is the Big Ten Enterprises, is that dead? Whatever that is, because we don't got the full details, is Big Ten Enterprises a for-profit entity? Is that dead? We don't know. We're gonna follow that story, Christopher Hooter. Thank you for the $2 holla. I appreciate it. Justin R., I don't think Florida State would go after Golish. They're in the same boat as Florida. They probably don't want a G5 coach for their next hire. Yeah, I don't think Florida. Yeah, I don't think Florida is going to get Golish. They're not going to go that route. Florida State probably. I think I agree with Justin R. on that.
Call from
Nitwit.
Nitwit, are you there? I think I lost you, Nitwit. Please call again, sir. Please call again. Checking out any breaking news. If there's any breaking news.
Call from
Nitwit.
Nitwit, the floor is yours. Thanks for calling, sir.
Hey, what a weekend of college football, Greg. Congratulations on the mighty Gophers.
Yeah.
It's a big-time win.
Yeah, that was good. That was
You
surprising.
just knocked oh, my God. I tell you what, exciting stuff. It's a beautiful day here in central Pennsylvania. Unbelievable what a weekend this was. Big-time wins, some big-time upsets.
Yeah.
You got teams like Vandy making a statement.
Yes.
You got the Gophers making a statement, just knocked Matt Rule out of our coaching search. So thank you very much.
Do you think he's completely out? I don't think he is.
I don't think he's completely out either. And I think there's kind of two things that are happening. People with ties to Penn State, and it's not only Rule. Believe it or not, you've heard, there's people out there that have connections to Penn State in the past, but there's a lot of these national names that are getting just to get pay raises. That's pretty much, they get dropped in the media, and then, probably Lane Kiffin's probably the next one that's going to sign a big $11 million a year deal with a $65 million buyout.
Do you think Lane Kiffin's going to stay at Ole Miss?
I would not. I do see there's some disadvantages down there. I know people are out there saying that a lot of these programs are, there seems to be an SEC bias on, I've seen Auburn's a better program than Penn State, or Florida's a better program than Penn State, or, you just hear this crazy stuff out there. I think Ole Miss does have some disadvantages in the SEC. The thing is, it's the combination, Greg. What would you think Lane Kiffin would do at Penn State?
Lane Kiffin, how do I think he would do? I think he would do great, but I don't think
he would have more resources.
I don't think he's going to be interested, though.
Hey, see, that's the whole thing with Lane Kiffin. Like, why are you not interested?
Because he's so
you're going to have an easier path to the playoff than in the SEC. You're going to be able to go toe-to-toe in recruiting in one of the most fertile recruiting rounds in the country. You're going to have the resources to get those recruits. Not sure. He
likes the water. He likes the warm weather.
Yeah.
He's staying south, in my opinion.
Yes. Yeah, him and his yoga.
Yeah.
I don't know how many top yoga places there are at State College, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I think his lifestyle is. I think he's going to Florida. I really do, but
Yeah, I wouldn't go to Florida if I was him. Here again,
Yeah.
I think Florida was really good at one point in time in the history of college football, and then you had some Urban Meyer magic. I don't know. I just feel like, you can't go someplace like you look at Auburn and you look at Florida, and we need to look at this from a coach's perspective, Greg. How many coaches have Penn State have in the last 40 years?
40 years? 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. How many coaches did Florida and Auburn have?
Yeah,
Like,
a lot.
Who's going to be a little more patient with you in your quest to win a national championship? I don't think it's Florida. I don't think it's Auburn. So,
And Auburn is another. Looks like they're going to be looking for their new head coach as well.
Yeah. I mean, I've never, Greg, you follow college. I've never seen something like this. Like where all these big time programs are finding their coaches in the middle of this.
Last year, we barely had a coaching carousel,
right?
Because we had the new $20.5 million rev share that was being dropped inside of every athletic department. So last year it was historically bearish in the carousel. So I think that is what's generating more things happening this year, in my opinion.
And actually, like on the recruiting end and the player end, like I know this used to be a big time problem in the past. You'd lose your recruits, people would transfer out, all this kind of stuff. But now we have NIL deals.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? NIL deals are going to keep players there. They're going to keep, you know what I mean? You could find, I heard Pat Fitzgerald out there as a coach for Penn State. I would love that hire. Something outside the box, bring in a little toughness, bring in that linebacker mentality that Penn State historically had. I think that would be a great fit. You know what I mean? I think all these schools coming up, there's a lot of schools that are looking at the opportunity and saying, hey, now's our shot. Like people aren't really historically, in the past 15 years, it's been Alabama, Clemson. You know what I mean, Greg?
Yep.
Now it's wide open.
Yep.
Now it's like, okay, let's go. Let's do this. Let's get our resources there. Let's get in the game. Let's go for a national championship. So you're seeing a lot of schools see that there is an opportunity to go against the Alabamas, the Georgias, the Ohio States. Bring it on. We're ready to go. Let's get in the game. And that's what the market's dictating. You know what I mean? It is wide open. You got resources flowing anywhere, Wisconsin just baffles me. I don't understand why. I don't think Penn State's going to lose their identity because we've always had good defense. We're always, this year's we're a little down. Our time, Wisconsin just baffles me. I don't understand. Obviously it's not working. It's not a fit. I think you gotta clean house, go back to your identity. Like you said, great analysis about recruiting in that area.
Yeah.
Offensive linemen, run the football, be tough, play good defense. It's just unbelievable what an exciting football year this is. And you know what, Greg? The Gophers are having a sneaky good season. I have to say that you look out.
Well, look, here's the thing about my Gophers. Number one, Nebraska has a psychological issue playing the Gophers, okay? Number two, the Gophers have a psychological issue playing the Hawkeyes. So at the beginning, during the off season, I said, okay, Gophers, I'm going through the schedule. I predict Gophers to finish 7th in the Big Ten. I'm like, the Gophers are gonna beat Nebraska, but then they got to play Iowa, and that's the swinging gate game. So really nothing has changed. I mean, Gophers have struggled mightily before that Nebraska game. I mean, Gophers have been They were rocked by Purdue. They were rocked by Rutgers. Those two teams, for whatever reason, said, here's the game, Minnesota. You can have the game. Even though we've dominated you, you can have the game. So Minnesota took them. But this game, Minnesota actually deserved to win. And Nebraska seems to make Minnesota healthy. I saw a Nebraska podcaster last night. He said, Nebraska is Minnesota's trampoline. Minnesota, after they play Nebraska, they suddenly become a better football team during the season. And I think that might happen again this year. We play Nebraska, Fleck has them all figured out, and then suddenly we win other games that maybe we shouldn't. So we'll find out. But now, look, we're more than a touchdown underdog to Iowa. We're going to Iowa City. That's a house of horrors for Minnesota. So we'll see what happens.
I'm going with the Gophers, buddy. My Penn State Nittany Lions were there. They should have won that game.
Yeah, your quarterback made a couple turnovers there.
Yep. You know what? It's going to get worse, but before it gets better. But it's better. I tell everybody that I know in the Penn State community, you know, I'm glad we ripped that Band-Aid off because the drama's going now, Greg.
Yeah.
You can't that constant voice in everybody's head. You can't win the big game. You can't win the big game. It's all going now. Franklin's drama's going. Time to move on.
Yep.
So you take care, buddy.
You got it. I appreciate it. Great call, sir. Nitwit, Penn State Nittany Lion, looking for the new head coach. Breaking news. Colorado State fires head coach Jay Norvell. Jay Norvell, who I thought was going to be a success at Colorado State. I thought he was going to be a success. He did a really good job. I think it was Nevada. Jay Norvell, I remember, I don't know, maybe 5-6 years ago, there was a report somewhere out of Iowa City that said if Kirk Ferentz retired or whatever, if he retired or whatever, if there was a job opening in Iowa, that Jay Norvell would get an interview and would have a shot at it. Jay Norvell, Iowa player and all that stuff. Again, but he just couldn't get it done at Colorado State. They weren't, and they got a beautiful stadium. They got a beautiful stadium that cost a couple of $100 million. They need to sell tickets. Jay Norvell is gone, and now they're going to be a member of the new Pac-12 conference next year, right? A new branding happening at Colorado State. They're going to be a Pac-12 school. And so they're going to look for a new coach. A new coach. We'll see what happens there. Breaking news. Norvell has been fired. But it wasn't Mike Norvell. It was Jay Norvell. Jay Norvell. The wrong Norvell. The wrong Norvell was fired. They're saying that the Mike Norvell news will be tomorrow. Who is they, Eddie? Who is they? Who is saying that? If you can let me know in the chat room. Guys, I want to thank you all for joining us here on our Aftermath show, Week 8. The coaching carousel mania has definitely begun. I want to thank Heartbreak 25, Kenneth Maynor, Bill G, John Till, Ryan Willie, Christopher Hooter, Helmer Hennison, Amazing Blue, Expedition Greg. Thank you guys so much for your generosity. I very much appreciate it. Very much appreciate it helping us keep the lights on and grow the channel. Thank you guys. I want to please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet. Subscribe to the channel and get yourself notified so when we come on, you get a notification, because we can come on live at any time here at Peek Around the Corner. Morning, noon, nighttime, midnight. We've done it before, covering all the breaking news in college football. So please subscribe, turn on the notifications, and smash that like button before you leave. I want to thank all of you. And again, going to be another busy, dramatic week as we head on to week 9 in the college football season. We're going to go through the games tomorrow, which is going to be happening this coming up weekend. Today in the Aftermath show, we went through the games that happened in week 8. The Aftermath is pretty significant. Vanderbilt, Georgia Tech, Indiana, holy smokes. And Billy Napier fired as the head coach of the Florida Gators. And that, in my opinion, that is a monster job with monster potential. If the Gators can hire the right guy this time, the Gators might be back. They might be back, or they may not be. Again, thank you for joining us. I do appreciate it. Until next time, from all of us at PATC, to all of you, please, you all take great care of each other. And as always, God, family,